Okay, today you are looking at how we solve problems in the coordinate plane. So we're going to be looking at graphing in the coordinate plane and solving some problems using coordinates in the coordinate plane. So looking at the top here, this first paragraph, the coordinate plane can be used to solve real-world and mathematical problems. For example, maps use coordinate planes to show the locations of real-world places. You can use a coordinate plane to find the distance between 2 points or objects with the same x or y coordinate. When the different coordinates are in the same quadrant, subtract their absolute values. When they are in different quadrants, add their absolute values. So these are two things to remember. When the different coordinates are in the same quadrant, you're going to subtract their absolute values. And when the different coordinates are in different quadrants, you're going to add their absolute values. And I'll show you what I mean here as we go. So looking at example 1, and they've worked this out for us, but I'm going to kind of read through it. Each unit on the coordinate plane represents a city block. What is the distance from the museum to the bus station? The museum is located at -3, -9, right here. And the bus station is at -3, -2, right here. Since they have the same x coordinate, -3, we're not going to use that. I'm actually going to cross off the one they have in common. But notice how their y coordinate is different. Now we look at that and we say, oh, they're in the same quadrant. And I would know because they're both negative. Both x or both y coordinates are negatives, -9 and -2. So because they are in the same quadrant, we're going to have to subtract their absolute values. So the absolute value of -9 is 9, and the absolute value of -2 is 2. So 9 minus 2 equals 7. The distance from the museum to the bus station is 7 blocks. And we can check that and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Using the coordinate plane example 1, we can look at example 2 here. What is the distance from the theater to the fire station? So looking at the theater and the fire station, now we have theater and fire station. The theater is located at 7, 5, and the fire station is located at -6, 5. Since they both have the same y coordinates, and now we look 7 and -6 are different, but the y coordinate 5 is the same for both of them. So we're going to look at the different coordinates. And we notice that one's in quadrant 1 and one's in quadrant 2. So since they are in different quadrants, we're going to add their absolute values. So the theater, the absolute value of 7 is 7. That means that the theater is 7 away from the y-axis. And the fire station is at -6, so -6, the absolute value of that is 6. So from the fire station back to the y-axis is 6. So we put those two together. 6 plus 7, or in this case, they put it 7 plus 6 equals 13. So the distance from the theater to the fire station is 13 blocks. Okay, looking at the guided practice on the next page. The coordinate plane below shows a ship captain's map. Each unit on the map represents 1 mile. So that means each unit is worth 1 mile. What is the distance from the sunken ship to the buoy? So we got the sunken ship and the buoy. So identify whether the points have the same x or y coordinates. So first we need to find the coordinates of the sunken ship and the buoy. The sunken ship is located at, well, we went out 1, 2, 3, we're at -3, and then we went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so we're at -3, +9, and the buoy is also at -3 and +1. So in this case, they have the same x coordinates. So we're just going to cross those off because that's the same. And then we'll be looking at their y coordinates to help find the distance. Identify whether the points are in the same quadrant or different quadrants. Looking at this, they're both in the same quadrant. So they're in the same quadrant, so we are going to we're going to have to subtract. So we get down to step 3. Since we know they're in the same quadrant, subtract. So we're going to subtract the absolute values. And which ones are we looking at? We're looking at 9. The absolute value of 9 equals 9. Number 9 is 9 away from 0. And the boy is 1. How far is 1 from 0? 1. So we're going to do 9 minus 1 equals 8. So the distance from the sunken ship to the buoy is 8 miles. So 8 units on the map, 8 units using subtraction and the coordinates, and now it gives us 8 miles on the map. Okay, so today you're looking at finishing the independent practice on the next 2 pages. So you're looking at independent practice on the first page, 1 through 6, and then on the second page, you need to make sure you fill in the map with all of these towns, and then answer the questions 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 using your map that you drew up there for number 7.